வணக்கம். Hello friends. கொடுந்தாள் முதலையும் இடங்கரும் கராமும், a line from the Sangam literary work குறிஞ்சிப்பாட்டு, captures the three different species of the crocodile in a single line, where the idangar is the long-snouted gharial associated as the Maharavahana, the mean urdi of Lord Varuna, associated with fertility, and to the birth of life from water itself, that is water cosmology. Different cultures across ancient civilizations having their own interpretation of this led to the noted English physician of the 19th century, Henry Havelock Ellis, who published the first medical textbook on homosexuality in the year 1897 to suggest that the pelagic origin of life, meaning life from the open seas, should have originated from this primordial water cosmology, science following symbolism, acknowledging the instinctive wisdom of the ancients. Ananda Kumarasamy, who has made an extensive study of the cultures across the world, makes this very interesting observation. A continuous body of culture handed down not through books but by word of mouth or practices from time beyond the reach of history, researched in the form of legends, ballads, fairy tales, stories, games, toys, crafts, even medicine and agricultural practices that we call tribal, is all part of a complex culture that is beyond national and racial boundaries, with remarkable similarities throughout the world. The Greek goatfish Capricornus, the equivalent of which is our Magaram, the Chinese dragon, the Thai dragon, the French gargoyle. In the ancient monuments of Java, Indonesia, there is a figure where there are two Magarams combined together with a single unusual head that they call the Kala Magara, denoting Kala, that is time. Again, Sinchumaram is one of the Tamil words for the Mudalai, and in Sunga dynasty iconography, Sinchumara represents a figure of a Maharam with a gaping mouth and a coiled tail, the Karalamuga. Around winter solstice in December, when the sun enters the zodiac sign of Capricornus, the Magaram, a very important celestial event occurs that is captured in the arched doorways of Gothic cathedrals, where there is a middle panel abutted on both sides by two panels that represent the gate of heaven and the gate of hell. And what does the middle panel depict? The birth of Jesus Christ. Now, the Magara Dorana that adorn the innermost gateway, the Sanctum Sanctorum, in both Hindu and Buddhist temples, can all this be a mere coincidence? As early as 1931, Sir John Marshall remarked that there seems to be a continuous religious tradition right from the Harappan times until present days in the Indian subcontinent. Parpola calls this village Hinduism. So here is the Mahara Varuna, represented as the Gharial, overseeing the cardinal directions of the earth, the Kangani. How does this Varuna metamorphosis or change over time? To understand this, we have to go back to the 2nd century BCE, where in the Indo-Gangetic plain or the Ganges-Yamuna plain, there existed an ochre-colored pottery culture, the OCP culture. We saw in a previous episode how different cultures had different colors of pottery which archaeologists used to identify the culture itself. And this particular OCP culture also had a huge array of bronze weapons, so much so that it is also called the Bronze Age culture. And a notable bronze weapon is the anthropomorphic axe, a human figure-like axe. The AA was discovered in hoards from various sites in the north, from Haryana to Bihar, and for a long time the meaning of this axe was not deciphered. For those of us who are members of the INTAC, a non-profit organization to preserve culture and heritage initiated by the government and having a pan-India presence, this figure is immediately recognizable as our logo. A chance finding in a post-Harappan mound in Sonipat district of Haryana, where an anthropomorphic axe found with a composite animal on the upper part was discovered by archaeologists. This was dated to 1600 BCE. This composite animal was wrongly identified as an iguana, a chameleon, the upper part of a wild boar or a bison, but finally the identity was established as that of the magaram. This AA, anthropomorphic axe, also carries an Indus symbol, a fish, and the very popular IVC imagery of the unicorn. With over 130 of these AA figurines subsequently excavated in the Gangetic Plains, over the next 1,000 years, they seem to slowly dwindle, maybe because of the influence of the first wave of the incoming Rigvedic Aryans, whose primary deity was Indra, who replaced Varuna. The Harappan Mahara Varuna deity that morphed into the AA loses out in prominence in the north, but its tradition is kept alive in the south through huge megalithic stone monuments discovered in Tamil Nadu and Andhra, dated to between 800 and 500 BCE. K.P. Rao of the Sri Venkateshwara University, Tirupati, observes that while stone art was earliest dated to around 3000 BCE from the Indus Valley itself, it was thought that the art lay dormant over the next 2000 years before being revived by the Mauryan dynasty in 3rd century BCE. But the discovery of these large stone megalithic monuments has enabled us to reassess this statement, and as early as 1868, he says these AA megaliths were found, but no one undertook the serious research of connecting it in terms of chronology or religion or any kind of symbolism in the subsequent years. Dr. Nagarathinam Ganesan of Houston, Texas, has done exactly this, has done extensive research of the AA symbology connected to the Indus religion, and has published a very interesting paper in 2016, Indus Religion in Iron Age, Tamil Nadu. Here are two AA megaliths made with iron tool technology from Mottur in North Arcot district and one in Udayar Nattam. These sculptures, which represent the earliest form of megalithic art in down south, always are found facing the direction of south, which is the direction of death that we observe till today. And here he makes the interesting connect from Sangam poetry mentioned in Madurai Kanji. This AA imagery is described as the all-powerful Malu Val Nediyon. This Sangam poetry advises the king about the impermanence of life and narrates scenes in Madurai starting from the east, circumambulating in counterclockwise direction ending in the south. Megalithic dolmens and chamber tombs are placed where the south-facing AA is found. The labyrinth designs around this megalithic monument, he claims, shows the interest that the ancients had in queries about life and death. In early Iron Age death rituals, the AA was a symbol of worship, and from here Dr. Ganesan makes his next interesting connect. In Adichanallur urn burial pottery photographed by Professor K. Rajan of the Pondicherry University, there is the imagery of Varuna as the Garial itself, accompanied by the figure of a mother goddess. This he identifies as the Kottravai Durga. How does Dr. Ganesan establish the identity? Again, by going back to IVC seals, where in the last episode we saw a seal of a Garial mating with a mother goddess. He identifies this as Kottravai, the Durga who rides on the tigers. How? By simply looking at the other end of the seal that carries the images of two tigers. Having done an extensive research by establishing the connect between Varuna Mahara and Kottravai Durga as a couple in the Indus seals, his finding is reattested by another very interesting archaeological find in January 2013 by Professor Rajan, where here in Madurai in the Tiruppuram hills, where a Tamil Brahmi inscription was found dated to between 3rd century and 2nd century BCE. This Tamil Brahmi inscription has a banyan tree in the middle with two inscriptions on either sides that have been read as Mu Nagara and Mu Shakti. There is also an Indus-like symbol on one side. Mu Nagara, ancient crocodile. Mu Shakti, the ancient goddess Kotravai. Here, the banyan, its association with Varuna, who upholds the invisible heavenly banyan tree. Dr. Ganesan goes on to suggest Alam, meaning the Tamil word for banyan, Alavai, the ancient Tamil name of Madurai, could have a direct association to this. Again, in Iron Age ceramic graffiti found in Sanur, representations of the Proto-Varuna holding up the invisible banyan are shown. Early Sangam Pandya dynasty coins of Pandyan Peruvazhi from 3rd century BCE, which seem to have been issued from the royal mint to attest to a coronation ceremony, also carry imageries of the Magara. Both Yama and Varuna are found in later iconography as holding the noose, that is the Pasakairu, attesting their association with death, and the Neithal, the literal region of which Varuna is the presiding deity. Every region has its own specific drums. The Karupurul that we saw in a previous episode, Parai is the drum of Neithal that till today in Tamil Nadu is associated as the drum of death. From here, Dr. Ganesan goes to the earliest discovered linga, the very famous Kudimallam Lingam of Chittor district, Andhra Pradesh, where it is a very unique iconography of the linga on which is superimposed a human figure with an axe in one hand and a ram in the other, standing on the Mahara crocodile with a fish tail, and his head is decorated with tracts of the pandanus flower. Herein, he establishes that this is the Maduvar Nediyon mentioned in Madurai Kanji, a further association made with the help of the pandanus flowers that are decorating his head. The Madattralai in Tamil, the song from the Patinappalai, where Kadayalur Urthiran Kandanar sings, Sinaichuravin Kodu Nattu, Manai Serthiya Val Ananginan, Madattralai Malar Minaindum, Pinar Pinnai Pizhimandiyum, the Varuna god is worshipped by whom? The Irundhalai Bharadavar. On the full moon day, the fisher folk of the littoral region Neithal worshipped Varuna by installing the jawbone of a pregnant sharkfish or swordfish and decorated it with the pandanus flowers, offered it toddy and worshipped it. And he claims that this could be because the crocodile gharial, having been hunted relentlessly, could have become extinct by then in these parts of the country, and so the shark could have replaced the crocodile in this worshipping imagery. Here the Madattralai is the Thalampu, which is the pandanus flower. So the connection between Linga and Varuna, in Tamil, the same name Vidangar, meaning the crocodile as well as the Linga. Given that this unique imagery is not replicated anywhere else, could this be the start of a metamorphosis of the Varuna Vidangar into the Linga Vidangar? From Idangar, Idakku, euphemism bordering on obscenity, we say Idakka pesram paru. From here, associations are shown by Dr. Ganesan, Madangu, Madai, that is water embankment, Kidangu, Kidai, a go down, Malangu, Malai, to be confused, Pisangu, Pisai, to need, Vidangu, Vidai, where Vidai is the virile male of a bovine animal or an elephant, and Vidangu is clearly an erotic signal, a kama kuripu, and he associates this from the Padinoram Tirumurai, that is the Thevaram, Giripala Pesi, Sadiral Nadandu, Vidangu Pada, where the Vidangu Pada is a clear erotic signal, and the Pingala Nihandu, a Tamil dictionary, the Nurpa that starts Vidi Kotiyum ends with Anmayum Vidangu Ahum, where Vidangam represents manhood, manliness and virility. Vidalai, a virile youth chasing after women. In the Thevaram of Sundarar again, in Tiruppainili, he dedicates a whole decade of songs to the virile nude Vidangar, whom we know as Pichadanar, calling him Araniya Vidangare. This Pichadanar captured in iconography. C.K. Subramanya Mudaliyar, the very noted commentator on Periya Puranam, explains Vidangam as V plus Dangam, where Dangam is a uli or tool, and V Dangam meaning uliyal sedukkapadada, a stone that has not been chiseled. And this explanation is not accepted by Dr. Ganesan, who says Vidangar is a noun, so it cannot be split. And C.K. Subramanya Mudaliyar himself also denotes a further meaning where he sort of explains that it is something that has not been covered. A very generic meaning. Why this hesitation? Probably because by that time the Vedic association had taken strong roots in the Tamil country, where the phallus association of the lingam was looked down upon. In Rig Veda, the people worshipping the linga were called the Dasyos, worshipping the Sisna Deva, and there is a song that says, "O Lord Indra, protect us from those who worship the Sisna Deva." Yet another reference where they recount conquering the riches of a city after killing those whose god was the Sisna. With Vedic ideologies brought in by the Guptas in the north and the Pallavas into the deep south after the 3rd century CE, the phallic association of the linga was downplayed, and of course the pandanus flower, the Madatralai, was removed from his worship, and the Kotravai was softened into Gauri, though the sacrifice of the water buffalo, which was a primary ritual in the worship of Kotravai, was abolished in Vedic culture. Her name was changed into Gauri, where Gaur means the bison, which is the wild buffalo. Appar sings in his Thevaram, "Min odu ilanga pali terndu ulalum vidanga veda sinathinal." Here, Dr. Ganesan shows the naked Vidangar, the tantric meaning is preserved in Saivite tradition. We know that childless couples go to the Sabda Vidanga Talangal and worship the Vidangar for progeny. In Tirunalluru, he is Naha Vidangar, both names associated with the Maharam, and so are in the other Sabdavida Talangal of Tiruvarur, Tirukkarayil, Tiruvaimur, Tirunahekkaronam, which is Nagapatnam, Tiruvaimur, Tirukkuvalai, and Tirumaraikadu, that we now know as Vedaranyam. All Kaveri Delta temples patronized by the Chola kings, who made images of this Vidangar in precious stones studded with precious gems, kept them in golden caskets and donated them to the temples. Such was the special place given to this, and these are all known to us through epigraphic records, which also show that over a period of time many of these Vidangars and the golden caskets are all missing. Manaigal thorum தலைக்கை ஏந்தி விடங்கராகி திரிவது என்னே. Again, Appar sings very affectionately of the Lord who is roaming around as a naked mendicant. The Tamil ancients were big nature worshippers and were very comfortable with nudity and the worship of the Vidangar. And from here, Dr. Ganesan goes on to claim that the discoveries of the ancient sites in the north, the pre-Kushana sculptures showing the Egamukha Linga from Madura reliefs or Agapura in Rajasthan, as well as the first ever 5-faced Linga found in Bitta near Allahabad, also dated to the 2nd century CE, are all relics of the Varuna Vidangar. The early hymns on Siva, the Sri Rudram of the Taittiriya Samhita in Vedic religion, where Rudra becomes Shiva, has no mention of the Linga. The Lingam tree, known as Maavilangai, so named because when in full bloom it resembles the male Linga, is known as the Varuna tree in Indo-Aryan languages. So the association of the Linga with fertility worship has a pan-India, pan-Asian, and one would say a pan-continental presence if you look at iconographic evidences that come from different parts of the world. A Bronze Age stone Vidangar used for sacrificial fertility rituals in Sweden, a Bronze Age fertility cult that is dated back to before 500 BCE. The Yugoslavic god of Chor, one of the oldest protective symbols of ancient pagan and Slavic talisman. The Neo-Sumerian figurine from ancient Iraq, the Linga at Mai Son, Quang Nam, Vietnam, the Vidangar at Khmer in Cambodia, the temple of Seti Abydos at Egypt, and the numerous Vidanga temples in the Buddhist country of Bhutan, where an iconography such as this is found on the walls of a village side building, and from there to the ithyphallic imagery in Khajuraho, we will explore more of the Vidanga Linga Connect in the next episode. Vanakkam.